Hey guys, Mike again. I'm going to do my top, it should be 10 non-horror movies. It was hard, so I'm doing top 15, and that was like leaving Shawshank Redemption, Clerks, Sandlot, Mrs. Doubtfire, and a couple others out. It was, yeah. But these movies I watch a lot. I watch them either, in my DVD Blu-ray player, or if they're on TV, I watch them. If they're on streaming, I've watched them. So a little bit kind of a combination of everything. I wish that I could say that I'm some intellectual and all I like is Oscar-winning movies. Yeah, no. Most of the time, the Oscar-winning movies I don't like at all. Um, some of them are okay, some of them no. It just kind of depends on what it is. If you asked me if I saw Slumdog Millionaire, I would tell you no. Never even watched it. Same with Chariots of Fire, any of those hoity-toity kind of movies. Out of Africa, I went and saw that. Um, Color Purple, I liked. I went and saw that, but I don't own them. But no, my movies are a kind of a combination of action, comedy, drama. Some are independent and some are straight up big blockbuster movies that I just love. I'm going to start out with number 15. And that would be Speed. This movie made me fall in love with Sandra Bullock. She had done a few things. I think she even did a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger before this, but this was the movie that made me fall in love with her. So, and also I really didn't know who Keanu Reeves was until this. I mean, I knew he had done some movies, My Own Private Idaho, and I don't know if he had done Point Break or if that was after this, but I liked him in this movie, and I loved Jeff. Jeff. Oh my God, it's not. I always want to say Jeff Bridges, and it wasn't Jeff Bridges. It's the other one. It'll come to me halfway through this, and I'll shout it out and look like an idiot. All right, number 14 for me is Moonstruck, one of my favorite Cher movies. One of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies too. Nicolas Cage, of course, had quite a career there for a while. I mean, he had some good movies, Face Off, and he did a movie called Valley Girl that cracked me up. But this is probably my favorite Cher movie. I don't know. I like mermaids. I liked Mask. So, but I wanna. This one I watched probably more than any of the other ones. So, that's number 14. This was hard for me because this probably should be farther up in my top 10, probably. But I'm just going to leave it as it is and say my next one up is Fargo. I hated this movie when it first came out. This was one of those Academy Award winning movies. And I went and saw it at the theater, and I was not at all impressed with it. I don't know what was wrong with me. Maybe my milk duds were bad. I don't know. But I didn't care for the movie at the theater. It wasn't until a friend of mine named Jeff Bossert was a fanatic about this movie, and I sat and I watched it with him, and sure enough, it clicked that time. And I had to have it, and it's one of those movies that Steve Buscemi is just awesome in this movie. And of course, William H. Macy is pretty much good in everything he does. If you don't watch his TV show, Shameless, you should, because it's a hoot. All right, so that was 15, 14, 15. This is number 12. I love Sandra Bullock. And she's got another movie in my top 5. So, but The Net, such a fun movie. This one came out right after she had done While You Were Sleeping. It was right after my mom died, so in a way, this movie has a little bit of a sentimental value to it for me. But really, I just really love this movie. It's fun. She is great in it. If you haven't seen it, basically. hackers take over her life and basically erase her from being, and she has to get her stuff back. She has to get her life back, her identity back. So it's really cool. Some very intense, scary scenes. So love it. This could have been 10. This could have been, I don't know, but I'm just putting it here at number 11, and that's First Wives Club. And the reason that this movie is on here, first of all, I love Bette Midler, and I love Goldie Hawn, and I love Diane Keaton. They've all done movies that I've really enjoyed. This movie is based on a book that was one of my dear friend Carolyn's favorite books, and she passed away. And I loved the book. It was by an author named Olivia Goldsmith, who has also passed away. But she did several books. I have them all. But this movie's a stitch. It's kind of a fun little comedic revenge movie. These three women are all first wives, and their husbands are all off dating other things or after other things. And they try to basically take their lives away from them, their money, their identity. And yeah, they kind of get back at the husbands. It's really funny. They're all great. So that brings me to my top 10. Okay, so at number 10, a lot of you may have not heard of this movie. This movie makes me laugh every time I watch it. It's called Best in Show. It's about dog breeders and our dog show people. Hysterical. Every character's in here is hysterical. This one, he talks about all kinds of nuts, pine nuts, walnuts. This lesbian couple with their poodles. She's been in a million things. But she's hysterical. In this movie, she just cracks me up. And then we have a couple gay guys with their dog. And we have the uptight couple with their Weimaraner. And then this kind of goofy couple with kind of a Muttley-looking dog. But it's all about the trials and tribulations of getting your dog to place in a dog show. Hysterical, hysterical. I highly recommend this movie. It is a stitch. Now, one of my other favorite movies, which was an independent and really didn't get a wide release at all, is Sordid Lives. This movie's so funny, guys. It's all about a black comedy about white trash. It is hysterical. It has Jeff Bridges, Delta Burke, Bonnie Bedelia, Olivia Newton-John, and Beth Grant. Beth Grant was actually in Speed. She was the woman that tried to get off the bus, and they blew up that step, and she went under the bus. But yeah, this movie's so funny. It's bawdy. It is written by a guy named Del. What is Del's last name? Right out of my head. Well, whatever. His name is Del. And they actually did a series on the TV channel Logo for a year, and then there was some kind of issue where Logo didn't pay them. So they ended up only doing one season, but that was funny too. But yeah, Delta Burke, Leslie Jordan. Come on, Del, where are you at? What's your name? I want to say Del Shannon, but that's not right. Del, oh well, whatever. All right, so number 9 is another hysterical movie that I watch anytime I feel like I need a good laugh, and that is The Birdcage. With Robin Williams, and of course we have Nathan Lane, Gene Hackman, and Diane Wiest. Such a funny movie about a gay couple whose son is getting married to a right-wing, anti-gay, anti-everything father and mother, and they love each other. And actually, this was one of Callista Flockhart's first movies. So, yeah, hysterical. I know y'all have probably heard of it or seen it, but it's one of my favorites. Now, this movie holds a special place in my heart. Um, so it comes in at number 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. This movie is based on a book that was one of my mom's favorite books. One of my mom's favorite authors, Maeve Benchney. She is an Irish writer, and she actually asked me to read this book after she read it because she loved it so much. So even though it wasn't a big hit, it is still one of my favorite movies, and it is called Circle of Friends. It stars a very young Chris O'Donnell and a very young Minnie Driver. And basically, it's a story of first love, first kisses, and first betrayals. So it's about 3 friends that reunite in college, ready to experience life in its fullest. And eventually these 2 meet and fall in love. He's not Irish; the rest of them are. But yeah, such a great movie. But yeah, it just brings back memories of my mommy. Okay, another movie that my mom never really went to a lot of movies, but she did go see this with me, and that is Sister Act. Um, this is a 2. This has Sister Act 1 and 2. We had such a good time with this movie, and she actually watched it several times after we went and saw it. But yeah, Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg. There's a whole cast of characters in this movie. Fun. I loved the music. I still have the soundtrack. It was just one of those movies that you walked out of the theater feeling happy and uplifted by watching. So yeah, very, very fun movie. All right, so now we are into my top 5. These are just my top 5. These are movies that are my staples. Whether you like them or not, that's, we all have different tastes, but these are my 5. So number 5 is Kevin Costner's Dances with Wolves. This movie was so epic. It was just so beautifully shot and written and acted. I loved everything about this movie. Could not wait for it to come out on DVD when it was released, and then I got it on Blu-ray, and then I got this collector edition 10, which is amazing. All this fun stuff. So, yep, love it, love it. So that is my number 5 movie. Number 4, and another movie that I thought of that I didn't, Jeff Daniels. It's a guy in Speed. I told you I'd yell it out in the middle of this video. Another movie that I really like that I didn't put in here, and I don't know why. I don't watch it very much, and actually I didn't own it until recently, and that's E.T. But this is kind of up there with E.T., although this one is from my childhood. I've watched this from a little boy up. And of course that is The Wizard of Oz. Movie that tanked at the box office and went on to be one of the biggest movies of all time. I mean, they used to play it every year, this and The Sound of Music. I don't know that they do that anymore. But yeah, I got this special edition at Target. So yep, that is number 4. Coming in at number 3 is my all-time favorite person in the world is Olivia Newton-John. I love her, always have loved her. Even when we owned a tavern when I was a little boy, I would pester my mom to play her songs. So other than Sordid Lives, I have Xanadu, I have Two of a Kind, but Grease is one of my all-time favorites. Not only do I love this movie, but I love the play. I actually performed in this play several times. So yeah, awesome movie. I'm actually going to do a digital code giveaway. If you have not seen this, I know if you're younger, and I know the horror. She says she can't watch this. I understand it's a musical. People in real life don't break out into song, but you want to know something? It's a great movie. It's fun. The music is great. You have old groups in there like Sha Na Na. Of course, Olivia has songs. John has some songs. We have a lot of artists, musicians that have songs in this. So, yep, Grease, one of my all-time favorites. I am going to give away the digital code to this. But yeah, I have like a million versions of this movie. Number 2 for me is probably the most heartfelt movie for me. This came out right after my mom died, and I was so wounded after she died that I spent most of the summer. She died at the end of March, and I made it through the school year. I was teaching at the time, and right after the school year, I went out to be with my sister in Pennsylvania, so I spent the whole summer there with her. And this movie came out at that time. So this movie, there's four things about that movie, that time I remember is John Garcia from Grateful Dead died. What's wrong with me? But he died. My friend Charlie Case died. Selena died, was killed. And yeah, it was a rough stretch of patch. It was my sister Gail was a huge Grateful Dead fan, so I knew who Garcia was. I actually have some of his ties, but the movie is While You Were Sleeping. It's my all-time favorite Sandra Bullock movie. I have a huge collection of hers, which I probably am going to do a little video on, collections of people that I have. Not horror, but this could have been number 1 and might be number 1 next week. Who knows? It just depends on my mood. But yes, Sandra Bullock was absolutely adorable. Bill Pullman was adorable in this movie. You just had all kinds of people. Peter Gallagher, Peter Boyle, Glynis John, Jack Warden. It was just an awesome. All right, guys, so number 1, my top 15. That should have been top 10. That could have been top 30. My all-time favorite movie right now, Field of Dreams. You know, I'm not a sports person. I do like baseball. That's about it. But Field of Dreams was that movie that I went back to the theater time and time again to see when it was out. And same with While You Were Sleeping. I saw that several times as well. But this movie with Kevin Costner, just a phenomenal movie. And all the characters that were in it. You know, basically this is a movie, build it and they will come. That's where that line came from. So he like lived out in the middle of Iowa and built this baseball field out in the middle of nowhere because he was being told by the ghost of baseball players past, if you build it, they will come. So yeah, it's all about him and his wife and the struggles they go through to get this done, and the characters that they meet along the way, and just a very uplifting, wonderful movie, and my number 1 movie. So that is it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later. Bye.